Another World War II movie. Man, I've seen so many. Tom Hanks is in this one? Now you have my attention. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and today I'm taking a look at Tom Hanks' World War II movie Greyhound, which is actually dropping on Apple TV Plus this weekend. It was originally supposed to be in theaters June of this year, got pushed back, delayed, and then eventually found its home on Apple TV Plus. What's really cool is it stars Tom Hanks, and he also wrote this screenplay, which is based on actual events. Now, before I get into the movie and what I liked and what I didn't like, if it's your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James. You're a part of the family now, so go ahead and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to tap on that bell as well, just to stay up to date with anything new just like this. Don't forget to like this video because it does a ton to help the channel, and also go ahead and in the comments below get loud, let me know if you're excited for this movie and what you think of another World War II film, because we have seen so many of them. If you missed it, I just dropped a review for The Old Guard and Palm Springs, 2 exclusives, one on Netflix, one on Hulu. You're gonna want to catch those reviews. You'll find them at the top of the channel or in the description below. Okay, so let's dive right into Greyhound. It's directed by Schneider and based on the 1955 novel The Good Shepherd. So it does take place during World War II and is inspired by actual events. Captain Krause, played by Tom Hanks, leads a convoy of 37 ships on a dangerous mission across the Atlantic Ocean to transport supplies and soldiers to Allied forces. This is definitely a formula we've seen before, but the difference maker here for me was Tom Hanks, 110%. I mean, that guy delivered on the character of Captain Krause. So let's start there, because honestly this is not a role that I expected from Tom Hanks, but he does so great to portray Captain Krause. He's a man of God, he's stern but very empathetic. I love that Tom Hanks really does act with his eyes in this movie quite often. There's one scene in particular where people are like, 50 dead Krauts, and he says, well, no, 50 dead souls, or just 50 souls in general. And you can tell that he has a very deep understanding of the horrors of war, and he's not very happy, and he's not reveling with his comrades after the sinking of a ship. And even though they were the enemy, it's still very hard for him to grasp, and you can tell that he's always going back to the Bible, which is pretty dope, not gonna lie. And I did like that his character was always sort of grieving. Like throughout the film, you can never see him taking a break. He can't even eat food, for goodness sakes, without them calling him up to the deck and they start, fighting other ships. Now, when the fighting does happen, I loved the wartime chatter. You can just hear them contacting the lower deck, and the lower deck is contacting the upper deck, and then sonar, and they're throwing out a lot of numbers, and I didn't really have my dictionary with me or just an encyclopedia of war lingo. It just felt so natural, and it really was engaging, and that's really what kept me involved in the movie for the most part. Now, I did like the performance of Stephen Graham, who plays Charlie Cole, the right-hand man to Tom Hanks' character, and he's in the lower deck. He's always given codes and everything to Tom Hanks, and you can tell that Tom Hanks confides in him throughout the movie. Even though Stephen Graham's in a supporting role, I've liked pretty much everything I've seen him in, and in here is really no exception, because Greyhound is a film that relies on the strength of its characters, and Tom Hanks and Stephen Graham really are pretty strong throughout this entire film. Now, when I think of a war movie, I think of the score. That probably wasn't what you were thinking, but honestly, I love listening to compositions within wartime films, and in Greyhound, it was actually pretty good. I mean, I really didn't feel like it was overbearing in moments. Now, there were some times and some scenes where I felt like, okay, the score's a little too loud here, and is actually taking over the sound design of, the ships firing at each other. But for the most part, the score was pretty darn decent, and it brought up some moments that I felt otherwise were a little eh. Also, there were some pretty darn cool shots in this movie too, with Tom Hanks looking through broken glass out at what could be the last stand for his ship. It was really neat to see, but the thing is, that's where the positives kind of stop, and I don't think that Greyhound does anything excellent, and maybe that's where we need to start. I didn't really expect Greyhound to be a 5-star movie, don't get me wrong, guys, but the script is a little bland, and the movie got a little boring in between the action. The drama just really doesn't work for me when they're, talking in between all the gunfire that might have just happened, or, a torpedo incoming. Everything seemed a little shallow. Now, I know I mentioned in the beginning of this review that Tom Hanks wrote the script, and I was actually a little surprised that the writing was as basic as it was. it didn't seem engaging, and guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, there were some moments where I thought to myself, this is just not a very interesting war movie. And quite honestly, one of the most disappointing things about this movie is how they wasted two really good actors in Rob Morgan and Elisabeth Shue. Rob Morgan plays Cleveland, one of Captain Krause's good friends, and he's just the chef on board Greyhound. The problem is they put him in that corner for the entire movie, and he just really was relegated to, here's some coffee, sir. I found you the corned beef you like. I'm like, dude, this is Rob Morgan, a really good actor. I loved him in Just Mercy this year, and I don't understand why they had to give him a role that didn't really feel, I don't know, I want to say important, but honestly, it was a role that kind of, again, put him in the corner, and I just want to see more, and I was super disappointed about that. And Elisabeth Shue was in the first 5 minutes of the movie, and then she had a speaking role there, and she plays the love interest for Tom Hanks' character. That's all good and well, until they show her again towards the end of the movie for 3 seconds, and you think, wait, but she didn't even speak in... okay. Both of these actors deserved way more room to work than they were given, so it just really disappointed me. And then there's the big topic of discussion surrounding Greyhound. Was this movie held back because of an at-home viewing? Again, like I said, this was supposed to be in theaters, and for good reason, because all the explosions, a lot of the battles, that would have been really well suited to a theater experience. And this is one of those few films during quarantine that really got held back. I wish I could see the big vast sea on a huge screen. I wanted to hear the torpedoes zoom by in a theater setting all around me, but instead I was relegated to a 32-inch TV with stereo sound. And that's going to be the case for a lot of at-home viewers, I'd imagine. So yeah, Greyhound really was limited technically because of this video on demand setting. I mean, I wish we had a little bit more, but that's also due to me being limited with sound. I think this is definitely one of those films that you needed to see in the theater to almost give it a leg up. But overall, guys, Greyhound really is one of those war movies that would have been pretty bad if not for Tom Hanks. So Tom Hanks does save the movie. However, the film is really bland in between the action, and I don't think any of the drama they try to build up works at all. And I'm kind of believing that this movie really wouldn't have done too well in theaters, because when you get past all the explosions, when you get past some of the really cool wartime chatter, the movie itself doesn't really have an identity, and it really is not too interesting. I really walked away from the movie thinking, okay, this film is a little boring in spots, it is pretty engaging in others, but overall it's just a very okay film. And again, the entire time I'm thinking, how would this look on a big screen? But even then, I don't think that would put this movie over the edge for me, so it definitely falls in the 3-star out of 5 category, and it's worth a weekend watch if you really have nothing else to see. But if you're catching up on some TV, or if you're checking out Palm Springs this weekend even, I think you need to go there first, because Greyhound really is just an okay war movie. Alrighty, you guys, well, there you have it. That's my review of Apple TV Plus's Greyhound. If you liked what you heard and what you saw and you want more reviews just like this, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and join me on this journey to 2,000. I cannot believe we're almost there, guys. Don't forget to tap on that bell as well, and like this video because it does a ton to help out the video and the channel itself. Also, go ahead and comment down below and let me know what you think of Greyhound when you watch it. Alrighty, guys, well, I'm gonna go to Best Buy and figure out how to upgrade my sound system. Or maybe I just need to buy a home. Well, I'll figure it out. Again, guys, I love you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.